Today we will talk on an empowering, scientifically backed topic. You are not a victim of your genes. You can consciously influence your physiology, health, and longevity. Introduction: most of us were taught that heart rate, blood pressure, stress hormones, immunity, even aging, these are automatic processes we cannot control. We are told it's genetic, it's age, it's destiny. But over the last 20 to 30 years, science has quietly discovered something revolutionary. Human beings can consciously influence their physiology, heart, brain, immune system, inflammation, and even the speed of aging through breath, mind, and daily lifestyle choices. Today, we will see how slow breathing, meditation, mindset, and energy medicine don't just make you feel good. They change your biology in measurable scientific ways. 2. The autonomic nervous system, not so automatic. Traditionally, the autonomic nervous system, ANS, was thought to be completely unconscious. Sympathetic, fight-flight, speeds heart, raises BP, increases glucose, stress hormones. Parasympathetic, rest, digest, repair. Slows heart, improves digestion, activates repair, anti-inflammatory pathways. For decades, medical textbooks said you cannot directly control this system. But now we know slow breathing, meditation, and certain training can voluntarily influence heart rate, blood pressure, and stress hormone release, proving conscious access to autonomic functions. A dramatic example is the work on people practicing extreme cold exposure plus breathing, like the Wim Hof method. Several studies show they can raise their own adrenaline and control inflammatory responses during endotoxin injection, something once believed impossible. 3. Breath as the remote control of physiology. 3.1 Slow breathing and HRV. Heart rate variability, HRV, is a key marker of health and longevity. Higher HRV equals better vagal tone and resilience. Numerous clinical trials show breathing at about 6 breaths per minute, 5 to 6 seconds inhale, 5 to 6 seconds exhale, maximizes HRV and baroreflex sensitivity, the body's BP control reflex. This resonance frequency breathing lowers blood pressure, reduces anxiety, and improves heart function in cardiac patients. Mechanism: 1. Slow breathing, rhythmic changes in intrathoracic pressure. 2. This gently oscillates heart rate and blood pressure. 3. Baroreceptors and vagus nerve become strongly engaged. 4. HRV increases, sympathetic output drops, parasympathetic tone rises. When you slow your breath, you are literally sending a signal to your heart and brain. We are safe. We can repair now. 3.2 The Bohr effect and oxygen delivery. The Bohr effect, described by Christian Bohr in 1904, states, when CO2 increases slightly or blood becomes a bit more acidic, hemoglobin releases more oxygen to the tissues. Fast, anxious breathing blows off CO2. Hemoglobin holds oxygen more tightly. Less oxygen actually reaches tissues. Slow, controlled breathing allows CO2 to rise slightly, dilates blood vessels, enhances oxygen delivery to brain, heart, retina, and other organs. So slow breathing or OM chanting with long exhalation, you are not just calming the mind. You are optimizing gas exchange at the cellular level. 4. Conscious control of brain and emotions. 4.1 Meditation and brain structure. Functional MRI and structural studies show that regular meditation and breath-based practices change the brain. Increased thickness, volume in prefrontal cortex and hippocampus, attention, memory, self-control. Reduced activity and sometimes volume of the amygdala, fear and anxiety center. Clinically, this translates into better emotional regulation, less anxiety and depression, better decision-making and impulse control, improved resilience to stress. 4.2. Breathing and emotional circuits. Different breathing patterns produce distinct emotional states. Rapid, shallow breathing, anxiety profile. Slow, deep diaphragmatic breathing, calm profile. Prolonged exhalation activates vagus, reduces amygdala reactivity. Studies show that paced breathing at 6 breaths per minute improves emotional regulation, perceived stress, sleep quality, cognitive function in anxiety and hypertension patients. So yes, by changing your breath, you change your feelings and your brain networks. 5. Immune system and inflammation. You're not helpless. Chronic inflammation is central to atherosclerosis, diabetes, neurodegeneration, autoimmune diseases, cancer progression. Breath and mind practices modulate inflammation. Meditation and mindfulness have been shown to reduce C-reactive protein, CRP, and pro-inflammatory cytokines like interleukin-6 in several trials. Breathing plus cold exposure training, again in the Wim Hof type protocols, increased adrenaline and suppressed excessive inflammatory response to injected endotoxin in volunteers, reducing flu-like symptoms and inflammatory markers. Message for public: your immune system is not something that only medicines can touch. Your breath, your stress level, and your mindset continuously instruct your immune cells either to inflame or to heal. 6. Epigenetics: how mind and lifestyle talk to your genes. Perhaps the most powerful part of the story. 6.1. What is epigenetics? Genes are not destiny. Epigenetics equals chemical switches like DNA methylation, histone modification that turn genes on or off without changing the gene sequence. Lifestyle can modify these switches. Nutrition, physical activity, stress and trauma, sleep, meditation and relaxation, environmental toxins, even thought patterns and emotional climate through hormone and neurotransmitter changes. 6.2. Meditation and gene expression. Several studies show that short-term mindfulness, relaxation training can downregulate pro-inflammatory genes like NF-kappa B pathways and upregulate antiviral and antibody-related genes. Long-term meditators show epigenetic patterns associated with slower cellular aging and better stress regulation. So you can say, every time you sit to breathe slowly or meditate, you are not just calming your mind, you are literally sending new instructions to your genes. 6.3. Telomeres and biological aging. Telomeres are protective caps on the ends of chromosomes. They shorten with each cell division and are widely seen as markers of biological age. Research shows high chronic stress equals shorter telomeres and increased disease risk. Mind-body interventions, meditation, yoga, tai chi, qigong, intensive lifestyle change, are associated with slower telomere shortening and in some studies increased telomerase activity, the enzyme that rebuilds telomeres. This is direct evidence that psychological state plus lifestyle can slow cellular aging. 7. Breathing rate, metabolism, and longevity. 7.1. Animal examples, metabolic rate concept. Across species. Animals with high metabolic rate and fast breathing, mice, rats, small dogs, shorter lifespan. Animals with slow metabolism and slower breathing, tortoises, whales, very long lifespan. This isn't only about breathing, it's about overall metabolic intensity, but breathing rate is a visible, useful marker of that intensity. 7.2. Humans, slow breathers age better. In humans, breathing less than approximately 10 to 12 per minute at rest, calm, not due to disease, is associated with better cardiovascular health, higher HRV, lower sympathetic activity, improved emotional regulation. Clinical data show that elevated resting respiratory rate is a strong predictor of all-cause mortality in various patient populations, even after adjusting for other factors. So we can truthfully say, people who live in a chronically fast-breathing, stressed state tend to age faster. Those who develop a naturally slower, deeper breathing pattern tend to have better health and potentially longer life. 8. Practical how-to, giving people a protocol. 8.1 Basic daily practice for public level 1. Simple 6-breath practice, 10 minutes. Sit comfortably, spine straight. Inhale through nose for 4 to 5 seconds. Exhale gently for 5 to 6 seconds. No force. Natural pause. Aim for 6 breaths per minute for 10 to 15 minutes per day. Level 2, add slight exhale, hold, OM, chanting. Inhale gently 4 to 5 seconds. Exhale chanting OOOM for 8 to 12 seconds. Soft 1 to 2 second pause. Repeat 10 to 15 minutes. This is very close to what you are already doing. 8.2 Who should be more cautious? Severe COPD or advanced asthma, very low ejection fraction heart failure, acute respiratory infection, people who feel dizzy, air hungry when slowing breath. For them, use gentle, slower breathing without long holds, ideally under guidance. 9. Integration with energy medicine and lifestyle. You can link this to your clinic's broader approach. Breath and mind, slow breathing, OM chanting, meditation, humming, HRV training. Light and field therapies, ViLight, PEMF, VNS, etc. Support mitochondrial and autonomic function. Metabolic lifestyle, early dinner, no dinner, C8MCT, low sugar, antioxidant foods, cacao, purple potato, beetroot. Movement and nature, walking, mini trampoline, sunlight, grounding. The message: each of these is a lever by which you consciously influence your physiology. No single lever is magic, but together they reprogram the body from chronic stress and disease towards healing and longevity. For centuries, people believed we are victims of our genes, our nerves, our hormones, our age. But modern science now agrees with ancient wisdom. You are not just a passenger in your body, you are the pilot. With every breath, every thought, every habit, you are sending instructions to your heart, your brain, your immune system, and even your DNA. Medicines and surgeries are important when needed. But if you ignore breath, mind, and lifestyle, you are ignoring the main control panel of your physiology. So from today, I can consciously influence my physiology, my health, and my longevity. And your breath will be your first, most powerful prescription. Compiled by Founder, Holistic Wellness Foundation, IMFAL, Healing Beyond Boundaries.